What is up, guys? Randomonium here with your Week 4 Fantasy LCS predictions. This video I'm going to break down all of the matchups for NA and EU in Week 4, and I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win and who I think the key players are going to be this week. If there are some of the games you haven't seen from Week 3 or earlier, do not watch this video yet because I am going to be spoiling those games. So just stop the video, watch the games you want to watch, then come back and watch this video. So let's get right into it. CLG, they're going up against Immortals and Team Impulse this week. I think they will wind up going 1-1. I think they will beat Team Impulse and they will lose to Immortals. And the big reason why I think that they're going to lose to Immortals is that CLG is way too predictable. If you look at their pick ban phase, they're very predictable. They always try to get a carry on the Darshan. Darshan carries the game for them. And then also in the early game, CLG is very predictable. They're very predictable with how they invade, how they ward, how they lane swap, how they play out the early portion of the game. It's very mechanical, it's very methodical. They execute it very well, but it's all very predictable. And Immortals is going to punish that predictability. They're going to review the videos. They're going to find ways that they can punish CLG. And I'm looking for Immortals to snowball a lead off the early game after they punish CLG for being predictable. That said, I don't think that Team Impulse is going to be able to punish CLG in the way that Immortals will, which is why I think CLG is going to win. The only way that Tip is going to be able to beat CLG is if they kind of get CLG to stop playing their game plan. If they get CLG to engage in some kind of messy team fights, because that's what Team Impulse is really good at winning. But I think Aphromu's shot calling is going to be essential for both games. For the Immortal game, Aphromu is going to have to do some stuff that's unpredictable for CLG to have success. And for the Impulse game, Aphromu is going to have to calm his team down, make sure that they stay on target, they don't do anything crazy that allows Team Impulse to, get a victory. Next team I have is TSM. They're going up against Echo Fox and Renegades. This is definitely an easy week for TSM. The problem, though, is that historically when TSM has easy weeks like this, they will pull out these really weird strategies that they want to try out because they're practicing it for Worlds or something else like that, and they'll wind up losing to teams that they should have beaten because they have some really weird strategy that doesn't work out too well. So my advice to TSM is do not do that this week. You're not in first place right now. You're 3-3. You've got to take this week and go 2-0 so that way you can break out from the pack and kind of set yourself up for playoffs. Now is not the time to try some really crazy strategy and wind up going 1-1 or 0-2 this week. That said, I think the key for TSM to go 2-0 this week is putting Hanser on a carry. They've got to put him on somebody who can make plays like a Poppy or a Fiora. And if they do that, I think they'll have a lot of success. Alright, next up is Team Liquid. Team Liquid had an amazing Week 3. They really have been completely reborn ever since that Echo Fox game where they were so far behind and they wound up coming back and winning. It used to be that Team Liquid was kind of the team where you punch them in the nose and they kind of just crumple into the fetal position and they don't come back. They kind of were a team that just went on tilt, and if you were able to get a good team fight on them, they would not come back from that. But in Week 3, oh my god, they got punched in the nose really freaking hard, and they came back swinging. They did a fantastic job. I was really impressed by Team Liquid, especially in the NRG game. But their reward for a hard Week 3 is a hard Week 4. They're going up against Team Dignitas and Immortals. I think that they are going to struggle against Immortals and wind up losing, though I do think that they can pull out the victory against Team Dignitas. But it's going to be essential for Dardosh to snowball the early game for Team Liquid, because that's where Team Liquid a lot of times struggles. It's kind of like this early to mid game. They make some mistakes, they fall behind, and then they come back in the late game, and they do a really great job of that. But there's no reason why they should be behind in the first place, and that's where they really need to work on improving. So yeah, Dardosh is going to be absolutely essential for Team Liquid this week. Alright, let's talk about CloudNine. So CloudNine opened up the season with this interesting strategy where they would play High against their stronger opponent that week, and they would play Bunny against the weaker opponent of that week. And that strategy didn't work out very well right now. I mean, the CloudNine was just kind of middle of the pack, nothing really special. And I was really worried going into week 3 because they were going up against TSM and Dignitas, and that means that they would put High up against TSM, they'd put Bunny up against Dignitas, and I feel like if they had done that, Cloud9 would have lost both games. But thankfully, they put High in for both of those games. They wound up going 1-1, so Cloud9 still middle of the pack. And I really think it's essential they keep High in this week. I don't think that they're going to go 2-0 this week, but I think they can go 1-1 if High is playing support. Because they're going up against Renegades and NRG. But yeah, Bunny he's a very good support, but he's not where he needs to be for shot calling. Bunny is kind of like Luke Skywalker in the Empire Strikes Back. He needs to stay with Master High on Dagobah, lifting entire teams, with his mind, perfecting his shot calling until his training is complete. Bunny is struggling to lift one cloud, and High is just effortlessly lifting 9 clouds all the way to World, if you get my drift. And to continue the analogy, Lemonation is kind of like Obi-Wan Kenobi whispering in Bunny's ears, "Bunny, use the headbutt, pulverize Bunny." But yeah, Bunny he's just not at the same level yet as High, and I really hope the Cloud9 continues with their week 3 strategy rather than going back to their week 1 and 2 strategy, and plays High in both of those games. If they decide to play Bunny, I don't think that things are going to go well for Cloud9. Bunny might lose an arm, Jensen might get frozen in Carbonite, Bunny might find out that Aftermoo is his father.
No, it's not true. That's impossible.
What was that? My point is that it's going to be a mistake for them to play Bunny this week. Bunny he's not ready for prime time. He's not ready to be the shot caller. He's not ready to replace High. These middle weeks are crucial for Cloud9 to break away from the pack, to kind of secure that playoff spot. And they're going to need High to do that. Once they get a pretty solid record, then they can put Bunny in with these easier matchups to kind of get him used to shot calling for Cloud9. But now is not Bunny's time. They need to play High in order to go 1-1 this week. Okay, let's talk about Immortals. Immortals is still undefeated, and I don't think that this week is going to be any different. They're going up against CLG and Team Liquid. If CLG is going to be able to have a shot at winning, they got to switch things up against Immortals. They're being way too predictable. Immortals is going to punish them for that. For Team Liquid's got to come out swinging. They got to come out and draw first blood and keep on trucking. Because Immortals, they will take any lead they get and they will just snowball it out of control. They put a stranglehold on you and they do not let go. So it's essential for Team Liquid to get an early advantage if they're going to have a shot against Immortals. But I think Immortals, their key player is going to be Huni. He's got to shut down Darshan and Lorlo. I think that Immortals is going to come out. They're going to come out with a 4-1 strategy. They're going to put Huni on an island, and they're going to expect him to be able to win the 1v1 against Darshan and Lorlo. Alright, let's talk about Echo Fox. They're going up against Team TSM and Dignitas. Echo Fox has really kind of struggled. They've had issues. They haven't been able to play KFO hard or Froggen. And this is not an easy week for them. Just like last week, this is not an easy week for them. I think they're going to struggle regardless who plays on their team. I think they will struggle and they'll wind up losing both of these games. But if they have a shot, it's going to be on Keith's back. He's definitely the carry right now. But I'm really worried for Echo Fox. I hope that they don't turn into a TDK for this season where they can't play their starters and they wind up getting relegated because they're playing with subs pretty much the whole season. So hopefully Echo Fox is able to resolve those issues and get their starters to play. All right, Team Impulse. Yeah, they're definitely the dark horse right now. I mean, nobody expected them to win any games this split, and they're sitting pretty right now, coming into week 4. That said, they've got a really difficult week. They've got NRG and CLG. Um, and I don't think they're going to win against either of those teams. I know I'm doubting them yet again, but I've got good reason for it. If you look at the wins for Team Impulse, they win in chaos. Like Team Impulse is true to their roots. They win when the game gets messy. They win when the game gets chaotic. And I think that NRG and CLG are going to be too disciplined for that. I think they're going to be able to just punish Team Impulse with superior mechanical play and superior shot calling. That said, I think that if Impulse is going to win, it's going to be on the back of Seraph. He's been playing fantastic. I don't even have him on the roster over here because he's been a recent change, and I have no idea who's going to be playing for Team Impulse this week either. But yeah, if Seraph plays, he's going to be the key player for Team Impulse this week. Alright, Dignitas. They had a really disappointing week, and for week 3. I think that they're going to come out firing this week, but Team Liquid just looks really good. I think the Team Liquid's going to edge them out, but I do think that they will be able to beat Echo Fox. But coming off a bad week, you really need your jungler to get the team ahead early, right? The jungler sets the tone for the game. It's going to be on Kiri's back to get Dignitas ahead early so they can kind of break out of that slump that they were in from week 3. Alright, NRG. They've got an easier week this week. They're going up against Impulse and CloudNine. But they can't sleep against either of these opponents. Both Team Impulse and CloudNine can beat NRG if NRG makes mistakes. So I'm looking for NRG to have a similar performance that they had against TSM last week. Go 2-0 this week, and I'm also looking for GBM to yet again play up to his potential and be a top-tier mid laner and be able to carry his teams to victory. So yeah, I'm looking for NRG to go 2-0 this week. But both games are definitely not surefire wins for NRG. They can't take either of these opponents lightly. Okay, Renegades. They show a lot of promise right now, but they're kind of on the ropes. They kind of, they lost Freeze for 3 games. They had some disappointing losses. And they've got a really difficult week. They've got Cloud9 and TSM. I think they've got a shot against both of these teams, but it's really going to be dependent upon Freeze. Freeze is their carry, and Crumbs has got to devote a lot of attention to bot lane. Getting Freeze ahead for Renegades to have any shot at all. That said, I do think that high superior shot calling and TSM's just superior overall play is going to wind up with Renegades going 0-2 this week. Moving on to EU. First up, we have Fnatic. They're going up against Giants and Rockatite this week. I think this is a really easy week for Fnatic, but these are must-win games for Fnatic. They've got to break away from the pack. They've had some pretty hard weeks so far, so this is essential for Fnatic to kind of get back to the top of the standings. And looking at the stats, one person that I'm really looking to step up this week is Reckles. If you look at the stats, he's kind of a middle-of-the-pack AD carry, and that's not who he is. He's a really great AD carry, and he's really just been underperforming. I don't know why, but I'm really looking for him to step up this week and kind of show who he was, last split. He needs to return to form. He needs to be that top carry if Fnatic is going to have a shot at winning the split this season. Alright, let's talk about Origin. Sven looks amazing. He looks like he did last split. And he really has been the carry for Origin so far. And I'm really excited for the G2 game because Sven versus Emperor is going to be awesome. I'm hoping they both get some really good AD carries and they just go to town against each other. And I do think that Origin's going to wind up dominating Giants. And I think they will edge out G2 in a very hard-fought game. and go 2-0 this week, and that the key player is definitely going to be Zven yet again. Okay, let's talk H2K. H2K, in my opinion, is the best team in EU right now. They look the most clean, the most crisp, and if you look at them, they make mistakes, but every week they correct those mistakes. And they're just getting better and better as the weeks progress. And really, in my mind, I think Forgiven is the top player in the EU right now. I do think that they're going to go 2-0 this week. They've got an easy week against Splyce and Elements. So yeah, H2K looks fantastic, and I think they're only going to improve from here. Our Unicorns of Love are going up against Rockcat and Vitality. They need to bounce back from a disappointing week 3. I think that they'll have an easy game against Rockcat, but Vitality is going to be tough. It definitely could be a game of the week contender. Both Unicorns of Love and Vitality have been kind of hit or miss at times. So it's going to be interesting to see, who winds up showing up that game. I'm hoping there's going to be a lot of fireworks in this game. But I think that the key is going to be Sachi's got to get some flanks. Like he's done some fantastic flanks this split, and he's been essential for his team winning. And I'm looking for him to make some really great plays against Vitality this week. Oh man, Giants. Giants is kind of bottom of the barrel right now. I thought that they were going to get some victories. But yeah, they're sitting at 0-6 right now, and this week is no easier for them. They're going to go up against Fnatic in Origin. I don't think they have any shot at winning these games. I'm hoping that Giants uses this week to kind of rebuild and kind of focus on the mental game, because right now I think that they're in their heads right now. They've got this internal monologue going on saying, "Oh my God, we're gonna go Owen, whatever, and we're gonna do horrible, and we're gonna get relegated," and they just need to stop, right? They just need to stop. They need to focus. They're good players. They just need to go out there and play and stop trying to force plays over and over again. Just play solid, play clean, and let the victory come to you. It's kind of like in boxing. Don't go searching for the knockout, because you're not going to get it. You just got to be sound. You got to have good fundamentals, and the knockout will come. And that's the same advice I would give the Giants. But I don't think that they're going to get that win this week. They're going to have to wait till next week to get it. Okay, let's talk about Rockcat. Rockat's got a really tough week. They were going up against Unicorns of Love and Fnatic. Looking at the stats, it looks like Betsy is going to be Rockat's carry this season. If you're just looking at who's doing well, we really didn't know who was going to perform well on Rockcat. It looks like Betsy is becoming their leader, becoming their carry. But if Rockat's going to have a shot, they got to have a solid pick ban phase and a solid early game. They have to come out with a very clear strategy against both Unicorns of Love and Fnatic if they're going to have a shot against them. Okay, Elements. Elements looked really good at the beginning of the split, and then they kind of, hit a wall when they started going up against stiffer competition. They're going up against Vitality and H2K this week, so yeah, it's another really hard week for Elements. I do think they're going to go 0-2 this week. But if they're going to have a shot, it's going to be from the jungle, right? Gilius has got to have an impact in the early game. The jungler can single-handedly change a game unlike any other lane. So I'm looking for Gilius to have strong games, and he's got to get Mr. Rallis fed. Mr. Rallis is definitely the best player in the team. He's been performing well despite the team struggling, so they've got to get him ahead. They've got to get him snowballing if they're going to have a shot this week. Vitality. Vitality has done really well so far. I think they've done better than I thought they were going to originally. This week they've got Elements, which I think is going to be an easy game, but I think Unicorns of Love is probably going to be a game of the week contender. I'm hoping for a lot of fireworks, but I really think that Kasing is going to be essential. He's been absolutely dominating vision control in all of his games. He buys more pink wards than just about anyone in NA or EU. And he's really been having a lot of really clutch plays, like landing clutch Morgana bindings and headbutt pulverizes and stuff. So I'm looking for him to make some really good plays in the Unicorns of Love match to be able to secure the victory for Vitality. That said, I do think the Unicorns of Love is going to edge them out, and Vitality is only going to go 1-1 this week. Okay, let's talk about Splyce. They've got a really difficult week. H2K and G2. I don't think they're going to win either of these games. If they have a shot, it's with Senko, because he's shown flashes of brilliance. He had that amazing game with LeBlanc, and they need to put him in a favorable matchup. He has shown that he can abuse another mid laner if he's given a favorable matchup, so I think it's going to be essential that Splyce, counterpicks the mid lane and allows him to carry the game. All right, and the final team, G2. G2 is, wow, I think they've defied all expectations so far. They're sitting atop the EU standings. They had a great week 3. And I think that the game with Origin is going to be a contender for game of the week. That said, I think that Origin will edge them out, just barely. I think that some people might say that's an upset, but I do think that Origin's going to win. But G2 has proven that they can beat any team in EU if that team makes mistakes. G2 is just phenomenal at punishing mistakes, especially with pick ban and in the early game. They punish mistakes so strongly, and they're just doing really well. I think that the key player for them this week is going to be Perks. He's really defied expectations. He's performed fantastic so far. So if he's going to have a shot at beating Origin, it's going to be with Perks. But I'm really excited to see the Emperor versus Ven matchup. I think that's going to be a fantastic matchup. So if we go to the kind of executive summary here, as far as NA is concerned, I think Immortals, TSM, and NRG will go 2-0 this week. I think Impulse, Renegades, and Echo Fox will go 0-2. The remaining 4 teams in NA will go 1-1. And on the EU side, I think Fnatic, H2K, Origin, and Unicorns of Love will go 2-0. However, both Origins and Unicorns of Love have a very close matchup. So they could wind up going 1-1. Vitality and G2, I think they will most likely go 1-1, but they could possibly go 2-0 with those matchups. And then the teams that I think that are going to go 0-2 this week are Elements, Rockat, Splyce, and Giants. You can see all the key players that I've got in the lower left-hand corner. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you like the content on the channel and you want to get weekly LCS videos, please subscribe. I do these videos regularly, and I will keep doing them throughout the rest of the split and also into the playoffs. And if there's anything you agree with, please leave a comment. If there's anything that you disagree with, please leave a comment. I love to get comments from people. I love to discuss, my thoughts and theories with people. I think that that's, tons of fun. So yeah, I encourage everybody to leave comments. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. This is Randomonium signing off.